Good afternoon, Dwelling Place residents and members of the community. We thank you for tuning in about the Dwelling Place Community Land Trust. In the first half of the presentation, I'll be providing an overview of the CLT program, including some of the properties that we'll be providing for purchase. The second half of the presentation, Mary and Anitra from Habitat for Humanity Michigan will lead us through the education and purchase process. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Anitra Austin, and I am the Housing and Financial Counselor with Habitat for Humanity Michigan. I'll be the initial contact person here for the intakes that you guys, when you guys complete the application and submit it to me, I'll be your contact person for scheduling any homebuyer education classes as well as any one-on-one financial coaching sessions.
All right. And my name is Mary Ayers. I am also with Habitat for Humanity of Michigan, and my formal title is Family Support and Compliance Coordinator. But I do a lot of things. I train, I do some of that intake, and I'll be helping Anitra with that as well. So lots of different hats that we're wearing these days. So good to be here.
Thanks, Mary and Anitra. So why is Dwelling Place looking at community land trusts? So this slide is showing what happens over time with real estate. In Grand Rapids, we've seen increasing market value of properties over the last 5 or 10 years. And what that's doing is creating a gap between what people in our community, moderate and low income people, can afford to purchase and what the market price of our homes are, which continue to go up. So what's contributing to these rising real estate values is all the development of new housing going on in Grand Rapids. The increasing property values are increasing rents, increasing home purchase prices, and that is often leading to displacement of low and moderate income households. So what's happening is it is creating challenges for affordable housing, and so the questions really in front of us are, how do we make housing affordable and keep it affordable over time? How do we prevent displacement of limited income households from the communities in which they live? And how do we protect public and private subsidies that are invested into affordable housing? So the mission of community land trusts they are focused on long-term housing affordability and community engagement. They're designed to ensure homeownership is available for future home buyers as well as the first home buyer. They stabilize communities by ensuring housing quality and preventing displacement. And currently there are 225 community land trust programs in the United States. This is not a new initiative, but it is new for Michigan community land trusts. So community land trusts take a long-term approach to affordable housing by changing the way home ownership, by the way property ownership is structured, by how housing affordability is obtained, and how long-term relationships with homeowners and tenants are nurtured and maintained. So the corporate structure of a community land trust is very similar to an organization like Dwelling Place. It is a nonprofit community-based organization. It qualifies as a charitable organization. It can receive donations similar to churches. And community land trusts specifically have a three-part governance structure. So with the Dwelling Place CLT, once we begin selling homes, the eventual board makeup will be what's shown here: 1/3 homeowners, 1/3 Dwelling Place representatives that are appointed by the CLT, and 1/3 public representatives who would be appointed by the community. So right now, our board is made up of 5 board members from the dwelling place board who are listed here. And so they'll be handling all the governance until we begin selling homes next year. So the CLT is a dual ownership arrangement where the residence is purchased by the individual. The community land trust retains ownership of the land. And then the CLT leases the land via a long-term lease to the owner of the residence. And then the CLT oversees the land and assists the owner when resale occurs. We'll talk a little bit about resale here in a second. So in summary, this slide's just showing the home is purchased by the homeowner at an affordable price. And the land, the CLT leases the land to the homeowner through what's called a ground lease. So as far as that ground lease, it has 2 functions. One, it legally conveys to the homeowner a long-term right for them to use and occupy the land. And it defines the CLT's expectations between the homeowner and between the homeowner's expectations for the CLT. So some of the stipulations of the ground lease are the home has to be occupied by the homeowner during the time that they live there. There is no subletting or renting of that home. And as far as use of the property, care and maintenance is required, just as if it was a standard homeowner purchase. And they are responsible for obeying all laws, ordinances, and codes. So the CLT is a permanent affordable housing program by lowering the sales price to an affordable purchase price. So by the ground lease that we just discussed, the CLT homeowner agrees to sharing with future homeowners the affordability that was initially shared with them, and agreeing to the ground lease formula that was used to determine the price at which they could sell the home. And Habitat will talk about that in here a little bit. So as far as the dwelling place properties that are being offered through this program initially, we will be offering homes and condos for purchase to families, households making up to 110% of the median income. And that will be the 3 properties that we're currently offering are Martineau and New Hope, which are condominiums, and Grandville Homes, which are single family homes. And we just want to make sure everyone's aware that no renters would be displaced if they're not interested in purchasing within these developments. So here's some photos of Martineau, which is a live-work, 23 live-work spaces for artists, ranging from 850 square feet to 1,200 square feet. Some interior photos of Martineau. And Grandville Homes, which are 10 single-family homes, 3-bedroom, 2 baths. Those are on Grandville Avenue, southwest side of Grand Rapids. And New Hope Homes, which is 6 duplexes, 12 condos total. And those are 2 and 3-bedroom condominiums. So as far as the timeline for the land trust, we are renovating 4 homes that are currently vacant, and those will be available for purchase in December at the end of the year. Residents purchasing their own unit their units would be renovated upon purchase contract, and renovations would be expected to take 2 to 3 months. We are expecting closings to begin in early 2021. So this is a typical renovation scope. Furnace, water heater, appliances that are older than 10 years will be replaced. Kitchens, baths, flooring on an as-needed basis. windows and doors to be either repaired or replaced, and electrical components, plumbing components, will be testing everything and replacing as needed, and exterior components will be evaluated. So maintenance is not an issue for the future land trust owner. So, and we're also providing new construction homes in 2021 in Grand Rapids, Grand Haven, Holland, and Newaygo. And groundbreaking is expected in mid-2021 if residents would be interested in that opportunity. Here's some of the photos showing some of the styles. Single-family homes are proposed. And as far as the steps that a home buyer needs to go through, they do need to attend land trust orientation, which is this presentation, would qualify for that first item, and then attend Habitat for Humanity Michigan or ICCF home buyer education. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. And once they've gone through the education process, home buyers would work with CLT lender, be referred to that lender from Habitat or ICCF. And then after that, they would apply directly to the land trust for a property through dwelling place land trust. And when approved, they'd be placed on a waiting list for available homes. And upon selecting a home, they would enter into a purchase contract, final mortgage approval, and closing for a new home. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mary with Habitat Michigan, who's going to talk about intake and homeownership education and that lending side, as well as some ideas on what a payment would look like. Mary, okay. Take it away.
All righty, thank you very much. And it just gets really exciting to hear, you know, at the end when you're ready to become that homeowner, then you're going to work with the lender, and this is just such an exciting project. I'm thrilled to be part of it. Habitat Michigan is thrilled to be part of it, and because it's just, I think, super important for the opportunity to be there for pretty much anybody who wants to become a homeowner, and so this is a good thing.
Thank you, Mary. So just to talk a little bit about the intake process, you guys should have all received the intake application. If you haven't, be sure to reach out to David to get a copy of that or a link to that, or feel free to reach out to Habitat Michigan. We can also provide that intake application. Once that intake application is complete and submitted, we will get it processed in our system, and then I will contact you to schedule the first initial meeting. During this meeting, we'll review your intake application, your budget, and your credit report to obtain financial analysis to see where you are with regard to being homeownership ready. Also during this meeting, if there are any challenges or barriers that prevent you from being where you need to be financially for homeownership, we will identify those things in an action plan that we'll create and discuss goals that need to be met during that initial meeting. We also do follow-up meetings. So we'll walk with you step by step through the entire process from beginning to end to make sure that you're successful with your homeownership goal. So during the follow-up meetings, we will, again, address any of those barriers that may be there, make sure that the goals are being met, and also determining your affordability and analyzing your affordability. The follow-up meeting are usually scheduled 30 days after the initial meeting, and then we'll continue with the 60 and 90-day follow-up. But just know that we're always available when you guys need us. If you have any questions or concerns during that, that gap period between the initial meeting and the 30 days, always feel free to reach out to one of our staff, and we'll be able to assist you with any questions or concerns you may have.
Very good. Okay. So then after you have met with one of us over at Habitat for Humanity of Michigan, we've, gone through that credit and affordability process and financial analysis, and you're setting goals and us being alongside you to reach those goals. Then we would get back in touch with the CLT representatives. And then there's a process that Dwelling Place Community Land Trust has about different houses that are available, about the purchase process and so on. And you would get involved in locating available homes for sale. This is the really exciting part. But then the financial. Let's look at the financial. The purchase formula, now this is an example only, okay? So this is not exact, don't hold us to these numbers, but here's kind of how it works with the Community Land Trust. The home gets appraised. Anytime you're gonna buy a house, it has been appraised, and the bank is the one that needs that appraisal so that they know that they're not lending more than the house is worth, okay? And so an appraisal happens, and that includes the land and any improvements that have been made. And let's say, for example, then that the appraisal comes in at $150,000. Remember that you're getting it for less than that appraised amount. You're getting 25% off right off the bat, that affordability subsidy, and so that lowers that by $37,500. And then possibly also you might get down payment assistance. There are several programs out there, and we would look at all of those different possibilities. There are state ones and city ones and local and so on. So now we're going to reduce the purchase price by another $7,500. And so what you end up with there is a total purchase price with that down payment assistance of $105,000. If you didn't get that down payment assistance for some reason, your total purchase price would be $113,000. And the down payment assistance sometimes has to be repaid, sometimes it's forgivable. It just kind of depends on the program. So you're starting with a house that's appraising at $150,000, but you're paying $105,000 or $113,000 for that house. So that's really awesome right off the bat. Okay, so then what happens down the road is this is what your your payment would look like. Using that $105,000 price that you paid for the house, your principal and interest is going to be $471.50 roughly at a 3.5% interest rate. If interest rates are higher or lower, that obviously is going to go up or down. Okay. Your taxes are rolled into your house payment. They go into what's called an escrow account, and the taxes as an estimate would be $170 a month. Then you don't have to make that tax payment for your real estate taxes on a yearly basis. And one of the extremely important things to realize about that is that I know you've all heard about people who are losing their home to tax foreclosure, and they're losing their home for $5,000, $8,000, $6,000, whatever. You don't have to worry about that because your taxes and your insurance are rolled in to your payment. So your taxes are $170 a month, and then that's an estimate. And then also your insurance is about $70 a month as an estimate, and that's your homeowner's insurance. Then there's the land lease, because remember, you're not buying the land that's underneath the house, you're leasing it from the Community Land Trust. So that's $100. And if you are in a condo association, if you're in one of the condo projects, then you're going to pay a fee if they have a condo fee, maybe $25, maybe $50, I don't know. Okay. So your total house payment then adds up to $800 to $850 for a house with everything included. So that's an extremely good price. Now remember, this is just an example. These are not numbers that, you know, you're going to be able to hold us to. It's for educational purposes only. But a house payment of $800 to $850. What if down the road you decide that you want to sell the home? Because this home you could pass on to your heirs, your children, somebody in the family, or you could sell it. So let's take, for example, this resale formula. Your house originally appraised for $150,000. So that's what we're going to use at that $150,000. Okay. And the original purchase price by you, that land homeowner, or excuse me, the CLT homeowner, including DPA, the down payment assistance of $7,500, you purchased that home for $105,000. That's the slide we just went over a second ago, right? Then 10 years down the road, you decide you want to sell. Now you're going to get another appraisal, and your appraisal comes in at $195,000 instead of $150,000. So over that 10-year period, the value of the home went up through approximately 3% per year. But that's just a guess, because the appreciation value, there's no guarantee on it, but also we have appreciation values that we're seeing that are a lot higher than 3%. But for this example, originally it appraised at 150, and now 10 years later, it's appraising at 195. Your share of the difference between the original appraisal and the now 10-year later appraisal is 25%. So it went, so that next line says increase in value. Right now it's 195. It was 150. So the difference is 45,000. Your portion of that 45,000 is 25%. So the CLT homeowners share of appreciation, 45,000 times 25%, is going to give you $11,250. So $11,250 is yours right off the bat. Now remember that David was talking about that one of the nice, really, really very good things about community land trusts are that they pass that savings on to the next homeowner as well. So you paid 25% less to get into the home, and that next homeowner is going to also pay 25% less, right? So the resale price, it's not 195, it's 75% of that. We take that 25% and pass that along, right? So the resale price is $146,250. So that's the number we're going to start working with. $146,250 is what it's going to sell for right now under the community land trust. But you've been in the home for 10 years. And you've paid off, you know, a good chunk of that 105 that you started paying for. And so now let's say that you still owe $90,000. The remaining balance on your mortgage or your original loan is $90,000. And let's say that you have to repay that down payment assistance, because that's the particular program that requires repayment. It's going to add interest to it, 3% interest over those 10 years. And so now that's $8,700 that has to be repaid. So those two together, total deduction is $98,700. And you're subtracting that from the resale price. And remember that resale price is the $146,250. $146,250 minus $98,700 leaves $47,550, which is your equity, all yours, all yours. And then add that other 25% in of the appreciation. So that's the 11,250, and you're at 58,500, excuse me, 58,800 that you're walking away with. That's an incredible deal. That's an incredible amount of money, and you're passing on the savings to the next homeowner as well. So what a beautiful thing. It's a bit of a complicated slide. I hope I did it justice, and if you have questions, you know, we're certainly here to answer it. So Dwelling Place Community Land Trust also supports homeowners. So not only do they help in the beginning, but they're involved, and there's that relationship that you guys are building. And so Dwelling Place CLT monitors and enforces the lease compliance. And so that's, you know, you can't have somebody, a renter, you know, whatever the rules are. Habitat for Humanity of Michigan and Community Land Trust both support homeowners. Will answer questions that arise anytime. You can call us back up 5 years into it or 6 months into it or whatever, and we'll help you with anything that we possibly can. We'll also provide referrals for additional support and request if you want that, so that you can achieve goals. There are IDAs out there, which IDAs are a match savings program, and you can go to school or start a business and have your money matched, or purchase a home and have your money matched. Now, you do have to save for a period of time. So, but those are the kinds of things that will help you find. Okay, and then hardship assistance if needed. There is a hardship component to this, where Dwelling Place CLT does not ever want to see somebody displaced because they run into a hardship. But there are certain stipulations with that, and Dwelling Place would get into that with you. Part of the homeowner benefits of being a CLT homeowner is that even though that house is appraising for what it is, it's such a good deal, if I'm on a limited income, I can still purchase that. I'm not being priced out of the market. And purchasing a home ownership is the fastest way to attain wealth, for a family to have wealth. And the wealth gap here in the United States has been growing. The gap has been growing, and so this is a beautiful way to get wealth in for people of moderate and low income. So limited income households are able to purchase homes. There's not mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance doesn't help the homeowner at all. It helps the bank. In case you ran into a hardship and couldn't make payments and got foreclosed on, it gives the bank their money back, 80% of their money. It doesn't help the homeowner at all. And so with this program, there's no mortgage insurance. It helps you to build equity and provide assets for your children and your future, which is fantastic. And the affordability is insured for the next set of home buyers from the proceeds of that sale. So lots of different home ownership programs are available here in Kent County. And so here's some others. Habitat for Humanity, obviously, of Kent County. We're with the state support organization, but there's the Kent County information, ICCF, Inner City Christian Federation, New Development Corp. They develop up on the west side, I think, the northwest side, and Link Up. So lots of different housing opportunities and programs that you can get involved with, and phone numbers there. So after you see this and you get excited about possibly becoming a homeowner, give us a call. There's Anitra's contact information, and as Anitra said in the beginning, she would be back, getting back in touch with you. And then it's possible that I will also be doing those intakes as well. So we'll figure that all out. Inner City Christian Federation there's the contact information for Janika, and Dwelling Place Land Trust, the contact information for David. So get in touch with any of us. We would love to answer questions and help you achieve those goals.
Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate you listening in, and you know, feel free to call me anytime on my cell phone, my email. I'll get right back to you. And we encourage you to, you know, to at the very least give Habitat Michigan a call, give Anitra a call. If you have further questions about the slides, the details in there about the payment, feel free to give Mary a call, and she can walk those numbers through with you again. And that is part of the home buyer education process as well, for them to, as part of the intake process and the counseling process that they'll go through to make sure you understand all that. So we sure appreciate you all tuning in. Anitra, any final words for us?
No, I'm just excited as the two of you to be able to offer this opportunity for the families. And just feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns or any clarity that you may need.
Yes, yes. And I love this slide. No, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. Fantastic. All right.